Radio. And I'm Darren Aquino, and everybody knows I'm veteran. Today, we promised you a story, and because of technical difficulties, we're not live right now, but we're live. So when you see us, we're talking to you real, right, and true. Everything you hear is the truth. This is a show that I created for veterans and disabled Americans. My partner, Carl Van Nevius, and our other associate producers, uh, we put this together and we changed the name. Everybody was asking me, Darren, when are you starting your show? I said, this is the show. And Carl partnered up with me and all of our friends because veterans matter and disabled matter because we're the disenfranchised group in America that have not been mainstreamed. And as the national chief advocate and civil rights police for 35 years, it was our time that Carl Van Nevius III brought Code Media Group in, and we also created this magazine I want to show you. I'm a co-sponsor with this and creator of COVID Mag. Well, we're having issues seeing it, but anyway, we created these magazines. This forum was created to keep the public aware of what your fellow Americans in the disenfranchised group known as disabled Americans, a protected class under the Constitution's 14th Amendment, because we have been struggling with the empowerment of the Constitution. So when I decided this, Carl jumped in and said, let me help. And here you have Code Wind Talkers. Because it was the Indians who helped during World War I, was it, John?
Yeah, no, World War II.
World War II, where the Navajo Indians helped decipher or create a code that the Germans couldn't figure out. And here you have it. Because we have a veteran, Carl came up with that name instead of the Advocate Show. And I have my co-host. So when we address veterans, instead of me, and sometimes people do feel uncomfortable because they think that I don't know, even though I come from 7 generations of military service. Of a dominant branch of my family was the Marines, high-ranking officers, and even in Black Ops. But we have Navy and Army as well. And John is a combat Vietnam veteran. In fact, he communicated with my cousin, the colonel, Marine colonel. My nephew is still serving, a lieutenant colonel. He's serving now in NATO. Did 10 tours in Afghanistan and Iraq to defend us against the terror that seeks to destroy us. So today, we have a veteran on, as I told you, and I told you on Twitter. And if you want to get us, you can go to www.codewindtalk.com, and you'll see the promotions there, all of our associates. But finally, after a long time of waiting, I created this show, this concept, to bring to you, your fellow Americans, to tell their story. This is not fake news. This is not any kind of news. This is people talking and sharing with you the stories around the country. So if you have a story that you want to share and you're disabled, or you're a person that provided service for a disabled and somebody interfered with you doing the right thing, then you want to be on the right show and you want to tell that story, how you believe that you were motivated or led to, disenfranchise that citizen or veteran. So again, I'm Darren Aquino, and this is Johnny Pizza. They also call me the Cricket, just like Jimmy Cricket. And our special guest is Christopher LAMARCH, a 13-year veteran who was in the War on Terror and became disabled and had 2 incidences where he got TBI twice. For you that don't know that, folks, now he looks pretty healthy, but we're going to show you things because a lot of people think with disability you have to be either on a stretcher or confined to a wheelchair. And you're going to be very surprised in the coming moments of what you're going to see and what you're going to hear. And here, we don't take a legal position. We just take a position on our First Amendment right. And that's to speak as we know and what we know to be true. Chris is going to tell you a story. We're going to go back and forth. And then we're going to talk about, as we always talk about, and it's getting ready, the last goodbye. This is from John Fratangelo. He is the creator, author, and illustrator as well in this amazing, amazing book. And we know how to get that book, right, John? How do we get that book?
Just go on codemedia.com. You can get it on there too. You know, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You know,
and we can look at it under
John Fratangelo. The Last Goodbye. Yes. Yep.
Right, The Last Goodbye, and you'll find it there. So everything is linked to us now, and until we get past this COVID, hopefully we'll be in a studio together with our guests, or some of our guests may always have to be remote, and that's just the way it is. But this is your forum, and I'm your host, and John's your host. We focus on veterans, and we focus on disabled Americans, and we focus on groups and doctors who come in. Last couple of weeks ago, we had Dr. Michael Atamanoff, who is the Chief Medical Officer for Advocates for Disabled Americans, Veterans, Police, Firemen, and Families. You'll find all of the links and contact to get us if you have a story. We want to hear it. We want to hear it, and we want you to be able to tell it. We know that some folks, your story is suppressed. And we also promised you on Twitter, as you know, I'm a celebrity host because I was a candidate here for Congress in Florida, and I was a candidate for mayor of New York City. And politics has got its corrupt points. The vote is not fair, and it's not correct. And as I promised my viewers and supporters from Twitter and from my Facebook and throughout the years, we are fighting. We're not accepting the vote because it wasn't tabulated. What wasn't tabulated? Disabled, disenfranchised voters did not have access. The only state that provides access for the blind is Rhode Island. So that means 49 states did not have Braille ballots. The vote cannot be officiated or certified if it disenfranchised a group under our Constitution, and that's what it did. I'm here to tell you that. So we're going to talk about that next week when the papers are in and we're before a judge. But it will be filed before, because we had to do some critiquing. Because here we tell it real, we tell it true, and we tell it all. And sometimes we have the supporting testimony of people sharing what went wrong. Why? Why are we in this state today? And that's what Chris is going to tell you as we get into Chris's story and his wife. You're going to meet his lovely wife. And we've been working on his case. And he came to me. And it's a funny thing. The show is also, just so you know, we're a faith-based group. You know, we don't sit here and preach the word, but all of us believe in the word. We know that we didn't just appear. We were created, and we believe in God. We believe in Jesus Christ, and we believe that everybody has the right to share their beliefs, and we let you share it here. So without any further delay, I want to introduce our special guest, also a combat veteran in the most recent war on terror, Chris LaMarche. Chris, say hello to everybody.
Hey, hello, everyone. And Darren, John, the production, Triplevibes. I want to thank you for the opportunity to give me a platform to speak, because truly I felt like I've been muzzled, to say the least. So.
Well, let me help you with that, and let's help begin with your story. How long did you serve in the Army?
Well, I'm currently active duty right now, and I've been serving since 2008. So yeah, but about 13 years now.
How old were you when? Did you enlist? You enlisted?
Yes, I did. I did enlist. In 2008, I want to say maybe February of 2008.
And how old were you at that time?
19. I was 19.
You're 19 years old. You went to serve this country. Thank you for that service.
You're welcome. I was trying for like two years prior to get in. There was some hiccups, you know, with the enlistment and finishing school and stuff like that, but eventually I got in.
So what inspired you to join the military?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things. The beginning is my dad. He would take us. I'm from the Bronx, New York, so he would take us to the Kingsbridge Armory.
I know the Armory. I do know.
Yeah, when there used to be people in there drilling actively, and I always said that would be cool. So I said I want to put my last name on that patch on the uniform, and then of course, being from New York with the Twin Towers, that really drove it home for me, and I think that day I decided that when I was old enough, I would join.
Well, let me say this, Chris, on behalf of our audience and all of my members and everybody involved, including Sean and Dougie Fresh and Carl, we appreciate your service and your courage and the sacrifice you made. We also know, because John and I know intimately what's going on, because I'm your advocate. Is that correct?
Yes, you are, Darren.
A lot of people don't understand. You have a little bit of a stammer. That was from an injury you got. You want to tell us how you got that injury so the people can hear?
Yeah, so a few months ago, I was on orders to travel from New Jersey to North Carolina, and in that trip, I was sideswiped by an 18-wheeler, and I spun off the road, and my car flipped a few times and knocked a few trees down, and next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital.
So you were knocked unconscious, and that truck, that 18-wheeler, that was a FedEx truck, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe that it was. That was the logo that I saw just before the impact.
And he fled the scene? The driver fled the scene?
Yeah, yes. They didn't stop.
They left the scene of an accident.
Yes.
There was nobody there. You had no information, and you didn't even know. I mean, other than seeing the logo of that truck that knocked you off the road to give you these devastating, which you have a condition now. But this is the second time, correct? This is the second time you were injured. The first one was on a road trip. The first one, the second one. But the first one, you were injured in duty, correct?
Yes. I was in very close proximity to a mortar round, which exploded by where I was conducting duty. I was assigned to look over a section of the base, and yes, the first mortar round that hit was the one that was close to us, and then they got scattered around. But that experience, it's indescribable. It shook me from the inside, and everything inside of me just rattled so much.
So that was an attack on one of our bases that you were in?
Yes.
So that was terrorist attack, and you suffered injuries from a mortar that hit, and you got an injury there that affected your brain?
Yes, that was while I was in my tour in Iraq.
And what year was that, Chris?
2010.
2010.
Yeah.
And you continued to serve while you had a marked condition by a clinical evidence and treatment that you had a TBI from that as well.
Yes. It did take a while to figure it out. A lot of it I hid inside because I didn't want to be I didn't want to seem weak, I didn't want to seem like I wasn't good enough to be on the team. So I kept a lot of it inside, but after a while, I couldn't anymore.
Explain what TBI is for the people who don't know what it means.
TBI,
traumatic
brain injury.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to people that don't know, as an advocate, that means the shock that he encountered, his brain shook inside his head. And when that happens, that creates what you hear now, a stammer in talking, because all the nervous senses, because your brain has got electricity, when his speech gets impaired, his thinking gets impaired, and the mobility also gets impaired. What you don't see right now is he's in a wheelchair. What was removed, and it was just recently removed, the doctor cleared the removal of the neck brace. And we didn't put him on. So we didn't want you to see somebody that would feel demeaned by letting you see his limitations. But if he was okay with it, we're okay with it. We're okay with any one of our guests that wants to bring their message to you, because what I'm about to tell you now, you're not going to like it, folks. You're not going to like that they mistreated our veteran. I don't know about you, but I get very emotional and very upset when the people that serve us, like our veterans, and they get disenfranchised by the people that work for us, and they delay their benefits. He was threatened, harassed, and denied his full separation. And here's what I'm going to tell you, and then we're going to talk more, okay? These are my words, and I'm accountable to my words. As I know it and read the documentation, it's horrifying, America. This is our veteran. He belongs to us. They say he's property of the United States. Guess who the boss of the United States are? Let me remind you, we, the people. He's our property, and I don't like the way they treated him, and neither do you. And you're going to have to say so, and we want to hear from you, because they're trying to stop his benefits. They're trying to make it like he went AWOL. He should have been severed after the traumatic incident where he was in an explosion while they were attacking our base and our military men and women who served this nation. But they didn't. And as courageous as he is, he stayed in and endured, because he said it. He didn't want to feel. That's a guy thing. All of you men out there and all you veterans, I know you know what I'm talking about. We don't want to take an easy way out, especially when we're a military man. We wear our uniform. It gives a certain pride to every American soldier. I know I come from 7 generations, and I just love the pride. My cousin and Johnny, and just like Chris here too, they would do it again for this country. But we can't let any kind of corrupt policy in this government that belongs to us cheat him out of his benefits. He's on now in an area where they're trying to cover that up, because you know why? Here's why. Because he had that brain issue and he was on another, that's line of duty. If they're sending you from A to B, you're still serving. He was serving on our dime, and we say, pay him. They don't get to decide. We do. And I say, this problem's going to go away, and we're going to fix it. We're not going to let Chris LaMarche or any veteran be disenfranchised or shortchanged when they put up their life on the line to save us, to keep us free and safe. I'm grateful for Chris's service, and I know you are, just like we're grateful for Johnny. Johnny goes back to Vietnam. He was fighting, and he was in the midst of gunfire and pulled 3 people out while bullets were flying at his head. He was going to pull his fellow soldiers out, his fellow Americans, his brother-in-arms, to pull them out into safety. He should have got the Medal of Honor, and it's not over until it's over. And I'm going to be the guy, as the civil rights advocate, I'm going to reconcile all these differences. And that's why I'm so happy and proud to have Chris. Another great story. It has some tragedy in it, but here's the good part. He's still with us. We've lost many. Many died and gave their life. And the ones that also sacrificed, how many men and women come back, and Chris knows and John knows, they lose their limbs. And these are the folks that didn't get to vote. They didn't get to vote because accommodations weren't there. So why does it matter? It matters because fair and equal, equality is what this are. All men are created equal. And it took President Lincoln to state that and make us the country of equality and liberty and life and pursuit. I'm saying to you and sharing with you that Chris's liberty has been compromised by other soldiers of high rank that didn't do their job. And now it's challenging his family, his life, his liberty, his his basic needs. The fundamental rights that we call here under the Constitution have been compromised by criminals, because that's what you are when you don't uphold the Constitution for every citizen if you're in authority to do so. And that authority is given to you by we the people. And we've seen a lot of talk with this election. Who likes Donald Trump? Who doesn't like Donald Trump? Here's what I like: truth, justice. Doesn't care who you are. It matters what we do as a people. That's what matters. And we always have to stand on that side. We are the just in this country. Our elected are always going to fail us, no matter what. They're going to do it because they're just human. But you see, this is something we can fix for Chris. This is something we're going to fix for Chris. And we're going to fix it for every veteran. Because like God, God is no respecter of persons. And when it comes to citizens, we don't disenfranchise a citizen because they become limited by their disability. We're supposed to embrace them more. That's why we made the Americans with Disabilities Act. It modified the 64 Civil Rights Act and the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. So is Chris going to get his benefits? You bet your life on it, because we don't take crap from nobody. That's who we are as Americans. And it's because of men like Johnny and Chris who went before us to fight for the freedoms we believe in. And that's important. So I hope as you see this episode and you have a story, you want to come in. You want to share it, and we're going to give you that forum. Who's ever stopping your First Amendment right, we're going to enforce it. So, Chris, tell us a little more.
Okay, so just about after this accident, I was in the hospital for a few days in intensive care, and I was finally discharged because they had done all they could do for me at the hospital. So now it was time to see specialists. So being that I was stationed in New Jersey and my wife and kids, they lived in Oklahoma. My wife didn't want to leave me alone in New Jersey, so she brought me with her back to Oklahoma so that she can give us the best care that I needed. So I came, and at first my commanding officer gave me 30 days of convalescent leave. But after that, they just, I don't know what happened. They didn't want to give any more. They just wanted to.
It's okay. Take your time, buddy. Take your time.
They just wanted to issue an AWOL to me.
So they issued you an AWOL because they didn't do their job. A doctor, they had medical documentation that supported you were convalescent. Is that correct?
Yes, it did.
I saw it. I know it's true, but I wanted you to share with the American people who are watching right now. They're watching and they're concerned about you.
This stack here, this stack is all the documents that my wife sent.
I have that stack. Yes, it is.
Diagnosis, letters from the primary care, letters from the specialist, and the things of that sort. And still they say, not enough.
That's discrimination, but that's a journey that we're taking that road, and John is keeping a close eye on it. And hopefully Nikki's going to come in. She's going to be a surprise today, and she wants more information. She's going to reach her contacts, and hopefully the President of the United States will see this, because the Electoral College is wrong because of the disenfranchisement of disabled voters. In this country, we're a majority, and the majority did not vote. And the vote has got to be canceled. And go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Chris, that pile of paperwork, is that from the accident with the FedEx truck, or is that military?
So it's a mix. It's the discharges, your paperwork from the hospital, and it's I started seeing specialists for the back, for the brain,
Brain.
for my eyes, and all the specialists I've seen since. It's all compiled here.
Right.
There are also VA doctors in there as well, right?
Yes, we signed up to see doctors in the VA, but our appointment hasn't come yet. So
And that's because of COVID, right? That's because of COVID.
yes,
Stuff like that.
It delays the process. Yes.
So
it would be fair to say, hold on, it'd be fair to say, because of this COVID and the reaction of the different states, you're being denied and delayed medical services. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. I believe so.
I just want to put that out there so the people seeing this know that here's a veteran who needs service. He was in this is immediate service need. This is immediate. Okay. He's being denied in different states because of, we've seen Republican Democrat issues come against we the people. Your veteran, to you, the American people, your veteran needs your help. He needs his services. You're hearing, and we have his permission. I am his advocate. He has an agreement with me, so you don't think that I'm his voice because he's being disenfranchised. He didn't get fair and equal treatment. And this is important for all of you. But the difference here is, this is one of ours who already took a blast from a terrorist where they tried to attack our base and attack our men and women. Okay, just so you know. Just so you know. If you're unhappy about this, we want to hear from you. Chris wants to hear from you because you know why? You heard what he said at the beginning. He was motivated by the trade towers. I was there. You all know I was on the corner. John is here, right here. Combat Vietnam veteran who's got the Silver Star and Purple Heart. He's not afraid to fight for the freedoms we all share. And remember, these are the men. And now we have women who go and fight for us every day. It's up to you now, America, to chime in and make your voice heard of what you want. Your voice is we the people. When we hire them and they're elected, they serve us. We don't serve them. And he needs his services. And we want him to have them because you're hearing the stammer. That's from the malfunction here. And that's what traumatic brain does. It does that. It limits you. And they're saying he's AWOL when he's hurt. What do you think? What are you going to do about it? John, you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Chris something. When you initially got injured with the mortar attack, they diagnosed you with TBI then, and they didn't consider a medical discharge?
So at first, it did take a while to figure it out, you know, but I did eventually get 80%.
Give me a towel, please, immediately.
80% service-connected disability, but then I was put back on active duty, so I had to stop that.
Right, exactly, right.
Yeah, I had to stop that, and I had to attend to the active duty orders.
Yeah, because once you're still active, they will not issue you your disability.
Yes.
Yeah? I don't understand why they didn't let you out on a medical disability. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And for the people who do not know what AWOL is, it's absent without official leave. So they got this guy who suffered so much. They're saying that he just left with no permission, and that's false. Okay, he was ordered to do this trip. He wasn't AWOL. That's very important. So this guy who issued those orders of you being AWOL, he's got to be held accountable. Sorry. All right.
That's right. That's right, John. And that's right. And that's why we have this forum here. And that's why I created it, because this is one. And here's the thing that's sad. He's not the only story, but he's one of the brave men. And now we have women who serve, and we're grateful for them as well. I mean, they show true character of American spirit. That's why I come to you with a heavy heart to join me in this fight for Chris, because this is everybody's business. This is our business, because we, the people, are the rule makers. You know, it looks like it's Congress, but Congress works for us. And you're going to see in the coming days in this lawsuit. That's why don't take this challenge lightly. This challenge is the difference of him getting his benefits, and it's our country. We got to take our rights back. You understand? It ain't who's elected, it's who's responsible. And if we let this continue, you're responsible. Okay? This is not about Republican or Democrat. This is about responsibility to maintain this republic. And when I hear stories like this, or folks in nursing homes, look what those two criminals did in New York. Look what they did to your family, your grandmother and grandfather who were in a nursing home. The governor knew that it would kill them. That's a high crime and misdemeanor. Governor Cuomo and Bill de Blasio killed New Yorkers. And they knew what they were doing. We can never tolerate that. Not ever. Because if we want to maintain I'm having a little trouble here. What's going on? If we want to maintain my camera's going crazy here. You can see me all right?
Yes.
Okay, it's probably because I had a little spillage on the computer. Anyway. So if we want to maintain this republic and keep America flourishing in challenges like this COVID, look what they're doing. Look what they did in New York again. They cut it down. They shut it down. Over 10,000 restaurants lost their livelihood. That's not good. That's not good leadership. But thousands of elderly died because sick people with COVID were put with your family in a nursing home. That subject them to imminent harm. As an advocate, I'm going to bring a case against that. The organization Advocates for Disabled Americans, Veterans, Police, Firemen, and Families is not sitting by idly. I pride myself, and I'm grateful for Johnny Pizza is my extended family. You know, I am promised waffles when I come up in January, and I will collect on the waffles. I want my waffles. And when I get there, we're going to talk about other cases. Johnny has joined the fight with us, and we are, let me tell you, we are in a place of challenge, and the country is in challenge, not because Donald Trump is president, because they don't like Donald Trump. So what they're saying, in essence, is they don't like your choice. They don't like my choice or your choice. I think he's a good president, but I respect your choice. And then you got this Antifa and this Black Lives Matter. You know, for somebody to tell me my life doesn't matter and theirs comes first, that's biased. That's racist. That's discriminating. I'm brown life, right? I'm brown skin because my mother was Puerto Rican and my father's Italian. So, but I'm my mother's son. Okay? Equality means everybody's the same. When you start projecting other things, you're putting people in a position where you're saying to them, you don't matter. You're compromising right now, and that's not good. That's not a nation together. And we are facing challenging times because everybody matters. That's the reality. We all matter. We all have different challenges. Black lives was challenged. Martin Luther King was the hero. I'm called the Puerto Rican Martin Luther King. They didn't even call me the Italian Martin Luther King. They called me the Puerto Rican because I'm my mother's son. And I was the only one that was so olive complected. All my brothers and sisters, they were like milky white. And my father too. You know, my father had the olive, but but I get it from both sides. But the thing is, that was the balance for me to know that everybody matters. I embrace both of my cultures, my Italian culture and my Puerto Rican culture, because it's good. It's good. It's part of my makeup. And it gave me a better understanding of, discrimination and the gravity of discrimination. Pushing somebody aside because you don't like the way they look, that's just horrible. We thought Abraham Lincoln settled that. He didn't. Martin Luther King had to come back and do it again. And then again in 1990 for disabled. There were disabled Black, Chinese, all different cultures here. Because America is made up of immigrants. But they served and everybody gave. Everybody gave to America. That's what it was. It was the land to give, and you would get just from your giving. And we got a great country. We got a lot of givers, but we have a lot of takers. We got to get rid of the takers and keep all the givers. because what we do so good is give to those in need. And what I don't like is what they did to you, Chris. I don't like it. And you're just one of many. And the sad thing is that there's many. It's better to say, well, this is an isolated situation, we can fix it. But the problem is it's not. During the Obama years, the Veterans Administration collapsed completely. You know it. All veterans know it. And why? Why? The VA is essential to the care of veterans. They're a group within a group, like disabled. And you got disabled veterans that fall under the veterans group. And they have a flag of protection from Ronald Reagan. Behind me here, well, you can't see it on this thing, but behind me, I got all the commemorative stuff that I have. And that's why I created this platform. And then friends of mine joined me, Carl and Nevius, because he said, Darren, this is great. And Johnny, I thought it would be better. Why? Because here's why. Me talking and telling you what I know as an advocate is one thing, but when you hear it from the other veteran, now it just solidifies what I'm saying. So being that we're an extended family, I thought it would be better that we'd have two hosts, co-host, creator, because we needed a platform. Being an advocate for 35 years, I've learned so much. I've learned much and suffered much and helped those who were suffering, that we can do this where you're being heard right now. 78 countries hear us, but the country I care about hearing is our country, the United States of America. When we're talking to those that we employ as elected officials, when I'm talking, they're listening. And if they decide not to listen, then that's why we have courtrooms. That's why we had the United States Court, to bring grievances like yours. And if they challenge us on your case, if they challenge me, then they're going to get sued for damages. Then I'm going to sue them for everybody. And they don't want to go there. You know, they want to take them. But, you know, I might have to go there because everybody, that's what the equality is. If you're in the group of all disabled and you got screwed, how many more like you got screwed? And that's what's wrong. It's wrong. We make these laws because it's wrong. And then you get these folks that come in and they want to do what they think. That's why, so for those of you that don't know why we sue somebody in their official capacity and their individual capacity, is so that when they're trying to use the government's lawyer, now they have to get their own lawyer because they made a conscious decision outside the scope of their duty. And now we hold them accountable in their own opinion. And that's why they have to, now they're going to endure the expense too. And we're going to do that in the case coming in the next couple of days, because I don't ever want to see a case like yours. I don't ever want to see it. And I'm not a trained lawyer, but I am a skilled advocate. And it took 35 years. Every day is a learning experience. But when a case like yours comes, here you get injured. You should have been severed then, like Johnny said. He's got years of experience. And then you get injured, it's their fault. You got injured because they didn't release you. Maybe your reflexes, maybe they were not, because you had the TBI earlier. We don't know. You understand? That's decided later. But what we do know is you got hurt and doctors said, hey, and then they put you in a severing situation. And I understand, and I spoke with some of the people recently in your matter because they didn't want to call me, but then they have a letter that you signed, your wife signed, that they are directed to talk to your advocate. It's the law. It's the law. It's in the ADA, the Constitution, and it's in HIPAA. When we give them a direction and they don't comply, they are willfully going outside the scope of duty to try and cover up the logistics that I put in their face. And we're not going to allow that. But that young lady, and I thanked her for her service, she called me, and I accepted her terms, what she said, because they would benefit you. And, you know, again, later, if I made a bad choice, any court of the Supreme Court, or United States Court, will say, well, that was his advocate acting his best. But, you know, the court decides what's logistic, not somebody's opinion. It goes by law. What they did to you was unlawful and unconstitutional. And we're going to make everybody know that. And that's why we're here. So tell us a little bit more. You served, you went in, and what was it like serving and fighting that war on terror? What was that like?
At first, I was a little bit scared, but I said, this is what I joined for. So I went out and I would do patrols. Well, not patrols, but we were in escort service where we escort the VIPs to different bases. So I was a gunner on a maintenance truck.
What rank were you, so the people know? Please tell the people your rank.
Right now, I'm an E5 sergeant in the Army. Yeah, so I did the tour and came back and went back on active duty. And while I was on active duty, I also had suffered a cardiac arrest, where I had to get surgery on my heart, and I have an implant. I currently have an implant in, and then I had to do a.
And when was that done? When was that done?
2015.
Okay, and when did the accident happen?
The car accident was 2020.
2020, and you were still serving with all these injuries that you got while you were in service.
Yes, and I had a second surgery on my heart in 2019, in October 2019.
I got to defer to Johnny on this. I got Johnny.
Did they take your disability, or are you collecting anything now?
No, I cannot collect because I am an active duty.
Yeah, that's right. You're active duty, but do you get any kind of pay at all?
No, not from the VA. No.
I don't understand. If you're active, you don't get a monthly check from the government?
Yes, for active duty.
Right.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. Everything might be stopping now because of the AWOL status that they put me on. That stops all my pay and medical benefits.
And that's even what they give you, an Article 15?
I wasn't issued one, at least not yet.
There's somebody working on that to try and put it back into medical. I spoke with that woman yesterday, 2 days ago, and she was a nice person, and she said, no, I agree with you, because I said, this shouldn't happen. I agree with you, but she's limited because everybody thinks when we're serving in government, we think it's an outside force that dictates to us. It's supposed to be a lawful managing of the people's lives and governing rule. This rule comes against the governing principles that we put in place for our veterans that need services. The thing here is, you should have been severed immediately. Listen, from the first one, okay, they delayed it. They give you, but after the cardiac surgery and you had an implant, what is their question? Now they drag this on. That brings other logistics to me that say this was cruel and inhumane, aside from the damages that they created. But what we got to say here, and that you stuck it out. Thank you for that. That shows real character. And everybody watching this is seeing the kind of man you are, standing up for country. Even though the domestic enemies are attacking you, you're standing in there. Thank you for that, buddy. You set a standard for men, okay? Oh, men should be looking at you now to know what real man character is, because that's what you're demonstrating. Character of a true man and a true believer. And, God, as a faithful thing, I know that God is going to bless this and everything will be well. But we all have to have a little bit of long suffering, the Bible talks about. Last show, when we had the pastor on, I talk about it, but I just feel to talk about this because Johnny and I are faithful. We know Johnny has this beautiful thing that he painted on his wall. I was showing. He painted. It's beautiful, And what you had to endure is criminal behavior at its worst by people that have been appointed or assigned to maintain something where a benefit is dispersed and it's left to somebody's decision rather than the condition. That's what the ADA talks about, warranted. Warranted means that the condition dictates, because it takes the power away from an individual and gives the power to the limitation. And that's what they didn't do. That's the logistic point of view. And a lot of lawyers don't talk like me, because I'm not a lawyer. I'm a true advocate, a defender of my Constitution. It's my duty. It's the duty we're born into when you're an American. You reaffirmed your oath, and you had to do it twice. Once just being born a citizen, and when you went to fight, they made sure that you're going to defend the Constitution. You defended the Constitution, got hurt defending the Constitution, and then was kicked to the wayside and said, oh, we have to pay him a benefit for that? Okay, let's put him AWOL and then charge him with something so he doesn't get his benefit. And then we save money and we discard a hero. We can't do that. I won't let anybody do that. And I'm going to remind that captain when I see him. And I told him, I'm going to rip him a new butthole, because you don't listen. I'm the national chief forever. He's a captain for a little while. And his job was to uphold the Constitution and to stand by his comrades in arms. And he didn't do that. He didn't do that. You got hurt. It was clear. You had a car accident. It's documented. And then you got hurt in the battlefield. Then, as a result, and other conditions that were working that caused his heart probably were from the original explosion. Okay? Because you suppress things to maintain and still be a soldier. But here's the thing. When you get a limitation that comes against duty performance and you don't have it, and you got this debilitation from service, they have to sever you. And thank you. Here's your check. Thank you. We're sorry. But they don't do that. Had I been the congressman, but it's not over yet, I'm going to change that, because I had a plan to wrap around benefits for veterans. I don't like that a veteran comes home and you got to fight. First of all, if you lose a limb or other things where you're confined, I'm going to hand a bag of money. I'm going to put in legislation. They get a bag of money just to cover them for essentials and things like that, between $250,000, $500,000, and up to $1 million. That has nothing to do with your benefits. That's just for catastrophic loss and the family impact it has, and the limitation that they put on the head of household. And we see moms and dads serving in country today, and the kids don't know if they're going to come back. And today it's a crazy time. So if I didn't say, I'd be remiss not to say this. So I have to say this, because Americans out there agree with me. You know, I was the #1 pick for Congress, and voter fraud. We know that in Florida, in my area, 30,000 ballots disappeared. The president's name was on it, and so was mine on August 8th. So I would have had 31,400, and that would have put me 5,000 above everybody else. And I'd be your congressman today, and this problem would be their problem, because as a congressman, you take care of your district, but you also vote nationally, okay, on things that matter. And being the guy that cares so much, a lot of crooked people didn't want me. But a lot of patriots were saying, what happened? What happened is corruption happens. Somebody takes a payoff and trashes the ballot for their personal needs. That's what is always going to be hard to get rid of in this country. But we can strengthen the body of leadership and the election practices so that don't happen, so that you are not in this problem today. You see, and those are the things I would have taken on. That's my expertise. I didn't want to make a pension as congressman. I wanted to make some change and leave. I don't want to be an expense to the American people. I want to be a blessing to my fellow Americans. And the way to do that is contribute knowledge. You contributed your heroics and courage and sacrifice that it could be your last deal. That could be it. You go and not come home. We know that from John. We know that from Pizza, because, you know, last night, Johnny, right? Last night, he suffered a loss from his cousin. And it's tragic. It's tragic. And these are the results of war. And Johnny's probably going to speak about that. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, because every man and woman that goes today, because women today that serve country, suffer a loss of some sort. This PTSD is horrible. It's taking the lives of our veterans. And we can't allow that. We have to have better methods, better treatment, better services. They went, they got affected. Our job is to take care of them. Don't you agree, Chris? If you could change, what would you change as a veteran, knowing that you've seen in other veterans before you were injured? I mean, you know, you still went in knowing these complications and still went to defend our country, your country, my country, John's country, America's country. You still went to do it. What would you like to see changed?
I've thought about this before, and I think that I would like to change the mentality of how just how people think about this this topic, disabilities, whether it be physical or even those that people can't see, you know,
right.
In the brain, a hearing loss, you
That's
know.
right.
But too many times we are scared to come forward in the military. We are scared to come forward and say, yes, I have a problem. I have a disability. I have especially like a behavioral health, mental health, because then all of a sudden you're not strong enough. You're not cut out. You can't perform. You know, you start getting ostracized. So I would like to change that atmosphere where it's okay to say, hey, I need help.
I agree with you 100%. And that's why for 35 years, I've been a national chief advocate. You know, I got promoted by God, and 4 presidents, you can't see it behind me, 4 presidents supported me with President Trump of what I was doing, and 3 United States justices. Because I'm not in this for any kind of money or any kind of prestige. I thought this was my opportunity to put my knowledge to work. And God taught me that knowledge and blessed me with it to be a blessing to others, because I was the disabled kid that tried to enlist with the polio. But yeah, and I said this to Johnny's other friend, the pizza's friend that was wearing, I said, they took you with this injury. They wouldn't take me. Now I'm feeling like bad because like I wanted to serve. I would have been a good gunner. I would have been out there killing enemies. You know, I would have did my duty. But when I hear of all of the veterans that get disenfranchised when they become disabled and they delay their process, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to make a promise to you right now here in front of everybody. 78 countries. I don't play that game because I'm a patriot too. And it's guys like you and John that inspire me to be a better me. My faith in God and my love for country and my love for my veterans and my family who served this country, I promise you this, when I'm done, they will feel my wrath because it will be yours. Every story matters. And when I get it out there and we make the case, and I will, my person is coming, we're going to make that case, we're going to finish up, and I'm going to talk about that. And even in the vote, how many ballots were thrown out of veterans, disabled veterans? They were thrown out. It's saying you don't count. So I'm not surprised in the body of this government that belongs to we the people have disenfranchisement within it to say, you know, the purpose of a disabled veterans portion is to deal with the disability. And when they don't do their job and say you're not disabled, it's not their call. It's supposed to be on the medical treating physician. And how do we know that? Because government looks at Social Security. A lot of people don't, because I'm one of the best skilled guys in the country as an advocate. When you Google advocates and you go advocate for disabled, my name comes up first, because there was no ADA advocates in 1983 but me. I started in 83 before there was an Americans with Disabilities Act. And because being that kid that was disenfranchised, I was trying to make things. I started homebound services before they had a policy, before 1990, because Ronald Reagan was helping me. And he ordered them to stay on it until my Social Security matter was solved. And that just encouraged me. And, you know, growing up and being a single a dad at a young age and having challenges. You know, I got hurt afterwards. I was working. Then I had a car accident, hurt my spine, and I couldn't. I got to provide for my child, and you know, I was saying, what am I going to do? You know, this is why people steal. I sent a letter to the president, and he responded, and then the phone calls came, and then the help came, and it changed my heart and my direction, finding something I was good at, that I was really good at, telling other people's stories for them, telling their argument, helping them express what it was they couldn't do and where they needed to help, not demeaning them, but uplifting them. And that's what happens when you get a disability. You get demeaned, you get undermined, you get compromised because they think they can. That is the discrimination that's just like racism. It's the same thing against a religious discrimination. It's the same thing against gay rights. You know, listen, we have a freedom. We don't agree with every freedom, but here's the thing. We got to agree with freedom, and everybody's entitled to it. And that's the deal. That's the bottom line. You don't have a word to say about anybody else because you have that. And that's what God taught us. Don't open your mouth against somebody else. Don't throw stones at a glass house. Don't throw stones at the glass house when you live in a glass house. You understand? But so, you know, we have certain freedoms that we have to protect for everybody. And these types of freedoms I'm adamant about, and I defend them to the best of my ability because I'm good at it. And everybody matters. You know, we saw that Black Lives Matters they want to take precedent over all lives. That's wrong. That's wrong. Your life doesn't matter any more than mine. Because if you say that, that's very bad. That's very bad. That creates a very bad systemic problem that puts people against each other. That's the same thing that Martin Luther King was fighting against. Don't do that. If it matters, if the brown life matters, the yellow life matters, the purple life matters, our humanity matters, period. Period. Whatever color, culture you are, you matter because you have breath in you. There's life in you. And you've been given the same, not always the same opportunity, but the same place to have a start where achievement is based on you. But you shouldn't be stopped from it based on what other things were visual to people that offended others. Imagine somebody getting offended because you're in a wheelchair. You know what offends me? I'll tell you what offends me. That blue tag that hangs in the window, and I'm going to remove that. And you're going to see what I'm going to do. I'm going to be the first guy, like I am for many of the ADA laws. I don't do it to get recognized. I do it to solve the problem because it matters. You're not going to see that hanging in the window. That's the meaning. Seeing a wheelchair hanging in my window, I get to park here because I'm in a wheelchair. It's not only for wheelchairs, it's for cardiac, it's for everything. But hanging that in the window is the meaning. But I'm going to change it, and it's going to be a blue tag on the window with a barcode. And the state's no longer going to have authority. I'm not going to talk about the logistics because other lawyers will run to capitalize on it. But they're not going to know how I'm going to do it because I'm good at what I do. Because I do it because I'm inspired by our veterans who fought a great fight. Now I can fight another fight that's great for all of us. And that's what I do as an advocate. And that's what this show is about. And let me bring up some things again here. The COVID magazine that we created. This I'm a co-creator with Carl and Nevius. And Code Media Group partnered with us in a vision I had for a magazine. And Carl and me are the creators of this. I'm the co-creator to this. And then we have Johnny's book. This book is important to all you veterans that you're seeing this today. This story goes back to Vietnam, and it talks about Johnny and his family. And let's think of the history of our veterans, going back to the Civil War, okay? And everybody saw Private Ryan, and you saw the five brothers, right? Guess what? That happened in the Civil War, not in World War II. Happened in the Civil War. And Lincoln was the one who wrote the letter to the mother. Okay, so some people cheated in that, but you're going to see this story, and it's going to be the true story, and we're going over the cure right now. Dave Kaltenbach and I are going over it. We're going to talk next week. Johnny and I were talking. We're excited. because you know I get to be part of Johnny's story, and you know what? Because veterans got to stay together. We're gonna call on you too, Chris, to give some of your input, because the show that we're trying to make here is going to be a mini series. So Dave is writing up The Cure, and we're going to go over it together, because Johnny, Johnny always asked me like my vision as an actor, and like, you know, we look at somebody, I look at Johnny and like he tells me a story. I'm dyslexic, so I don't write notes. I take photographic memories and I think of them in my mind, and I formulate something and I see it. I get a vision. I had a vision for Johnny story reading the book. I seen it, and so how do I bring it to life to make you see what I got out of what he was telling? To tell the story on television. So he asked me as an actor, and I said, I'd like to see this. I'd like to open it here. So when we go into the story, it's kind of going to go backwards. So you get to know Johnny as a boy. And then you see the character that he grew at 20 years old. You gotta see this, folks. At 20 years old, you're bringing your cousin's body home, and you come from this Italian family where closeness and family is everything. Chris, you know this. I mean, being in the war, okay, you saw it, right? Bodies coming back. How do you tell the family, oh, well, he died for country, and that's it. That's not it. There's more. So that's why this story of Johnny, it's good for current veterans, okay, to see what he went through. It's also kind of a training, I think, you know, to be ready for what's about to be, you know, because all of the young and now young women, young men and women want to sacrifice for their country. So I'm just saying, I want to tell this story with Johnny. I just want to show him what he showed me, and then shoot it out to him, and then he critiques it, of course. But like how I understand it and how I think we should project, so younger people can see this and follow it, to follow the story of his life, and that this is going to be your life, just a different time. You understand? Like you're a different time, but like John, you served in the war. A bomb exploded. People were shooting at him. The same enemy that we've had for years. Enemies. They're enemies of hatred.
Darren,
Okay.
Let me tell you something about this book. I talked to John maybe a few weeks or days ago, and he spoke to me about the book. I'm actually waiting for it to come in the mail, but on Amazon, I was able to read some of it, you know, and something touched me here, you know, here, just
Yes.
reading a little bit. And you know, Johnny was in Vietnam, and I was in Operation Iraqi Freedom, but the connection is there.
That's right.
The connection was there. You know, there's a bridge in that gap. And if you fought in wars before, now, or in the future, you're always going to find that bridge to your brother and sister.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right, Chris. And that's why he's my co-host, because he reaches the depth. As hard as I tried to understand, I'm a good advocate for you, but I didn't fight in the trenches with you. Johnny did. And that's a good thing. You know, it's a good thing. I would have did it either way, but the balance he gives to this platform. Did I freeze? We freezed up. Are you guys hearing me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Do we have Hello. Okay. The balance we have is that Johnny then takes over, and that's why I become the cricket then, because he relates to you directly. He was the guy that went before you and is ready here and now to help you with the challenge you face, because he did it first. Not that he did it first, but he knows what you're feeling, because death in war is horrible. And to be such a young man to see it is even a greater challenge for your mental state. I mean, it's just the way it is. But, you know, a lot of folks and civilians, they don't understand it. You know, being an advocate for 35 years, I've heard horrifying stories, horrifying. And I had to advocate for their benefits, because for me, it comes down to their benefit or the freedom that's being challenged. So it's always my honor to do it. I started the first real service dog program other than the blind for real people with disabilities. I shut down a lot of fake companies that are around, and they sell it online and saying certified service dog by saying to them, your dog is certified. You cannot certify a dog. Let me just make that clear to you. You cannot certify. So anybody watching, making up these phony papers, robbing people who have a service dog and don't know the procedure, for the last 10 years, I've been telling people, it's like I told people, don't use Binder and Binder for your Social Security. Why? Because they deliberately delay the due process, and it takes you years. I expedite Social Security cases because you don't know what it's like. Well, you know what it's like when you're waiting for a benefit. They capitalize on that. And they say they're a country that capitalist is good. Not when you're infringing on the right of a disabled person to prolong the need of their benefit where their family breaks up because there was no finances. I expedite things. Once I get it into pay, I have it paid in 10 days. Nobody does what I do. There are a lot of people that admire it and a lot of people that come against it because it changes. It causes an upset in their corrupt ways. So I'm very proud of what I do for men and women like you. Hopefully, Nikki will get up here if she gets up here, or if we wrap up the show before. But Nikki's going to be involved. She's going to call you, and she's an incredible 20-year veteran, and she's got friends. And you know, it's horrible to think what they done to you, and this AWOL bull crap. There is no AWOL when you get hurt. Okay, that's a way of them saying, "Oh, we don't have to pay him if we do that." That's somebody looking to kiss somebody's butt. We don't do that. We don't do that. We got to get rid of people like that in our government. That's what you're talking about. We have to get rid of people like that that upset the normal, and that's what they do. They want to make it go another way to say, "Hey, I could save you money. We could throw this guy under the bus, and if we do them one at a time quietly, you won't know the real number." It's like Social Security. When you turn 67, you're no longer going to be disabled. You're just going to be retired. So the census in the country is going to be wrong. So I'm fighting with them now. And I told Social Security, you can't do that. But in this case that I'm doing for the election, which I suffered, I'm bringing it out there. And we're going to talk about these numbers. These numbers are wrong. It's people changing the law in their own way. And they make it acceptable. We have to get away from that. That's not good. It's not good. And like, it's, you know, we wrote this book. We wrote this magazine and created it, me and Carl. Okay, I had an idea because I'm an advocate. This is about healthcare. This is our doctor, Michael Antominov. He's the organization's doctor. And our chief counsel, she'll be here about 4 o'clock. Our new chief counsel for Florida. She's a young student. Well, she's 32. She's not a baby. And she's waiting past the bar. But she's got her JD already. She's already Juris Doctorate. So everybody has the right to defend themselves. And I stand on the premise of the organization that I'm the voice of millions. And we have a right for one voice. I don't have to have counsel to defend me. I'm defending the voice of my fellow disabled Americans. And they can't stop me. That's First Amendment. They want to see, I know how to supersede their law because they convolute it where you go, oh, well, that means that. No, it don't. First Amendment is the paramount law of the Constitution. Why? Because if you can't speak the grievance, how are they going to know is there one? So that's what they try and do a lot of time. Shut down the First Amendment. And that's why we have a Second Amendment. When you try and stop me here, I'm coming for you here. You understand? That's why we have it. And
Darren, you know, you hit the nail on the head earlier when you say you become disabled and then quickly you're disenfranchised. You know, people will start making decisions for you. Like in my case, my wife provided the document to the proper people. But the decision is not for you to say whether or not I need some kind of convalescent leave or something like that. You take the medical, the doctors, the professionals,
the experts.
Right. You take the experts' advice, especially when they specifically say this person cannot do X, Y, Z, drive, work, lift, whatever the case may be. But in my case, my commander wants to make that decision.
Yeah, what was his name?
Captain James Clark.
That's right, Captain James Clark. That was the guy I called and left a message. He hasn't called me back still.
Yeah, and it's between him and the battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Gregory Cease. They get the documents, you know.
They don't. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Chris. They have to have human resources deal with that because they're not allowed to any medical. Because it violates your HIPAA rights and it violates you under the ADA because they're looking to make an opinion before the assessor sees it. They don't have that right. They're not a division that assesses you. They have to say, oh, what's wrong? Okay, they have to alert the people that handle that. And you don't have to give it to them because why? It violates your privacy.
And that is true. And here's an example of the HIPAA law working. But also being a hindrance, right? So my commander asked me for documents, and then he's provided, and he says, I want to talk to the doctor. I'm going to call them. So he calls the doctor's office, and then the doctor's office.
I'm on the air, Gabba, call me back.
The doctor's office says, I'm sorry, there's no release form for you. So now he makes a decision. Oh, they won't talk to me, so he don't get a leave. But I provided you the document as the patient.
That's very important. Say that one more time so that the people hear. Somebody who's an officer wants the doctor to tell him, and he's not the person under the law or the protocol of the VA that makes that decision. That's got to be another medical person within the VA, not him. He wanted to exploit you. That's illegal. That's a violation of your civil rights, and I'm going to get him for that. He will answer for that. Say it again, please.
He told me that he wanted to talk to the doctor. So when I gave him the documentation that has the doctor's information, along with all the other information with diagnosis and such, he calls, but the doctor's office says, I'm sorry, we don't have a release for you. So since he didn't get to talk to the doctor directly, he doesn't want to proceed with processing my request for convalescent leave. Instead, he puts me on an AWOL status. And then,
that's what I want to do for that AWOL status, as you're saying it now, so people understand the interjection. A person in their own capacity and his official capacity said, I'm not going to allow Chris to get the benefits unless I say so. That's what he did. And that's what a federal court will see. Because here's the good thing, Chris. Okay, when my person gets here, she's going to be with me throughout the night. And we're going to be working. And veterans always are a priority because God always helps me get all of my other work done. But the thing that you got to do most is, and we read this in a scripture, whenever you lay down your life for a brother, it doesn't mean literally die for them. It means put their business first. And this situation is really, it's like gnawing at me. I want to grab that guy by his neck and say, like, are you a true patriot? What kind of dog does that to a fellow soldier? You know, he got hurt. It's valid. And now you want to play games and cement with the medical? You don't have that right.
He's not playing games. He's playing God. when some of these officers get these stripes on their shoulder or these bars, it goes to their head. They think they could do anything, like you're a little puppet. You know what I mean?
There you go.
I'm telling you,
Tell us, Johnny. Tell him, Pizza. Tell him how it is.
They don't deserve the bars that they're wearing, or the whatever, hopefully clusters, whatever they wear. You know, officers. To me, an officer, like I told in the book, you know how I am about officers in the military, but they think they are God. Okay. You know, you got to pass by them. You got to give them a salute. You got to do this and you got to do that. And you got to spit shine and you got to cut your hair. You know, that don't make you a better soldier. You know what I'm saying? Because you got short, you got long hair, that makes you a bad soldier. You know, these guys make me sick. And this guy here that's doing this to you, Chris, he's got to go. I'm telling you, he's got to go. All right. He'll get his. You'll see.
Yeah.
And you know, what goes around comes really around.
That my family has to deal with this. You know, this doesn't only affect me.
Of course. Yeah.
If you look at the situation and say the person, not just the soldier, but the human, can't walk, can't drive, can't hold things in the left hand, can't remember certain things, failing neurological testing, but you say no. Either you show up here or you're AWOL. What sense does that make?
Mm-hmm. Well, what it shows, Chris, is retaliation for you making the complaint, and he demonstrated retaliation by putting you on the AWOL list. He's going to be removed dishonorably when I'm done with him, because what he did was destroy the confidence of the American people when it comes to the care of our veterans. He was a commanding officer. He commanded his will instead of his duty. And he demonstrated something that's unforgivable. He demonstrated almost not only disloyalty to the body of soldiers, but like he displayed an arrogance as if he was, like Johnny said, as if he was God. And he was going to make the rules today. Hey, Captain, if you're listening, I'm coming for you. And I'm going to take your captain bars away. And I'm going to feed them to the animals, to terrorists, because that's what you are. You come against the values of this country and the men and women who serve it. You're the one that people don't want to serve because of. It's because of men like you that aren't real men. And you're not a patriotic citizen. Those bars don't make you who you are. Here, what's in here, men like Chris, like John, who go and who'll do it again, like my cousin, the colonel. When I'm done with you in federal court, you're going to be done and you have no career. You're a pimple on the ass of the military. And we have to get rid of you because you inspire a deceit that we cannot tolerate. That's deceitfulness. An injured man who's got multiple and anomaly of disabilities that I asked him to come on. And I told him, just be you. Clearly, you can see that he has a stammer. And we know, as an advocate of 35 years, I'm an expert on signs and symptoms. And these signs are from his traumatic brain, and along with the anomaly of other shocks that his body endured while serving country. And that of a FedEx driver who's out there, and we will find you. We will find you. You're a criminal. You left the scene of an accident, and you left a veteran unconscious. We will get you. FedEx, you better surrender him, or we're going to have people boycott you. You don't do that to our veterans. This is an honorable veteran of 13 years. He didn't do 2 years and leave and say, okay, I did my duty. He stayed on, and then got traumatic brain twice. How many times do you want him to endure? Well, Code Wind Talkers is here to stop that kind of behavior. If we want America to be in shape, then we better shape up as Americans. I'm grateful to have Johnny Fratangelo with me, Johnny Pizza. And I'm glad that this book is out there for all of you. Because you want to know the truth, then start reading. Get the book. Go to Amazon.com. Go to lastgoodbye.book.com. And you will find it. And you will find it. Go to www.codewintalkers.com. Codewintalk.com. Go to adaadvocates.com if you got a complaint. Go and see. You want to talk about current healthcare issues, and right here, our doctor. If you got a plaint, if you got a grievance, if you got a story, we want to hear it. Come here and share. And remember, Chris, John, Darren, we're just your fellow Americans. I just gave you a forum that you can tell your story. That's why I created this show. And that's why I went to friends to help me get it. Triplevibes put me into their network so I could be the voice that you need to hear. You know, Dougie Fresh is also a veteran, a naval veteran. You know, one of our producers that helps put this on the air for you. Sean and Dougie and Carl helped me put my creation, my platform, my idea to hear the voice of all of you say what I've been saying for 35 years. Discrimination is so widespread. And we had a President Lincoln who tried to stop it. We had a great civil rights leader like Martin Luther King. He's my idol. He wanted equality. So did Lincoln, and so do I. So as you folks are out there, Chris needs your help. It's time to get pen and paper and start writing. Start writing because you're not happy. This 13-year veteran has been pushed aside. He's in a wheelchair right now. You can't see it because the magic of TV, they broke him down. It's your job to lift him up. That's who we are as Americans. You don't do that to our veterans. Not today, not ever. Joe Biden's got another thing coming. And let me just say this. This election is not validated. And we're going to see that through in the district court in the Northern District here. Because I am the national chief advocate for disabled veterans, police, firemen, and families. And I created the National Civil Rights Police. I own it. Nobody could take it. Everybody likes to capitalize in America. But you know what a good capitalist is? Somebody who capitalizes on the needs of people and solves the problem. And that's what I'm doing. Not for a kudos. Duty. Protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Chris, LAMARCH, yes, you heard his story.
You know what hurts me the most, Darren?
Tell us, Chris.
That I put my life on the line and I sacrifice, and I'm look at this here, Aaron. You see this? These are all awards that I've received. My meritorious service medal. Okay.
Slide it into the camera again. Go like this. Go like this. Move it. Yeah, there you go. Slide it. Move. Go back and forth.
That's it. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. And how many do you have in case they can't see? How many?
I have this one meritorious service, and then I have 4 Army commendation.
Go ahead.
Medals.
Show us the rest.
3 of the achievement medals. More commendation medals. Okay. And I have a host of other ones that I haven't put into the binder yet.
So you got about 36 in total, right?
I think I have more than that. Okay.
In 13 years. And all you got back was somebody trying to put you AWOL because he didn't file the paperwork appropriately and you didn't basically kiss his ass.
Chris, what about a Purple Heart? Didn't you get the Purple Heart?
No, I did not. They
Why?
gave me the combat action badge.
I don't understand that.
Johnny, maybe you could look into that.
Yeah.
You're a Purple Heart guy. They just gave me the combat action badge. I have certificates from my volunteer work with the Red Cross. I have.
We're going to solve these problems.
A slew of these awards, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole thing, it hurts my family.
Yeah, it does.
My wife, she doesn't go to work now because she says, who's gonna take care of me?
Right.
You know?
Chris, I'm gonna ask you something. When we first talked, first time when I got the call from your cousin. Now, you know, you were very distressed over this. Very, very stressed. You shared some stuff with me, and you could say yes, you'll share it, or no, when we won't share it. But you've been so open to the American people. And I wanted you to show your life to the American people, the life of a soldier, of a current day soldier. Johnny shares that with them every week. But you're a modern day soldier of the war on terror. And you were faced with some mental and emotional challenges because of the abuse you were going through because of this commanding officer who's reckless, to say the least. And you shared something with me. Is it okay if I share that with everybody?
Yeah, yes, it is.
You were in great distress. And you told me that your wife was out. And I want you all to listen, folks. This is your veteran right here, right now. I'm Darren Aquino, the National Chief Advocate for Disabled Veterans. Johnny Fratangelo, combat Vietnam veteran, who took fire to save somebody's son and daughter, somebody's son, to pull them out of the line of fire. This veteran went through the same thing and was thrown under the bus for filing his claim and still remained a soldier. And when they were taking away his benefits, and I got a phone call from a cousin of his that works actually with my wife. My wife is a special needs children's director of services. When she learned about me, she contacted me and asked if I would help her cousin. She was crying on the phone. I take what I do very serious. He wanted to take his own life because it was too overwhelming. I'm overwhelmed telling you the story. I told Johnny right away. I called him and told him. Because of what that captain did, he wanted to take his own life. How do you feel about that, America? You tell me. I don't know about you, but it ruined my day. Served 13 years. And now they want to, one man wants to rob him of his courage, his valor, and his service. Are you going to allow that? I won't. Johnny won't. We need your help. Go to www.adaadvocates.com. Chris needs your help. He needs your voice. Let them hear what you got to say.
Yes.
It's important. Johnny? Chris?
I did, Darren, once this all snowballed into what it is now, I begged my wife and I begged my sister to just let me. I felt that I was ready to just go. And it hurts me now because if it would have happened, I leave two beautiful children that I don't want to hurt. I don't want them to hurt. I don't want them to want for me. I want to be here for them. But for some reason, this command wants to just make it hell for me. They make it so unbearable. I sometimes still think about it. But I know that my family was here for me on that day. Everybody came together. Everybody sat on my bedside. Everyone talked to me. Everyone told me how much they cared for me. My wife, she had no choice but to call in, help services 911. And even the officer that showed up, he's a veteran. And he spoke to me and said, first of all, I'm going to tell you this. You're my brother. He told me, and that's how I'm going to treat you. And he sure enough did. He talked to me. He listened to me. He allowed me to express myself. Let out all the cooped up emotions. And I tell you, having all those people around me saved my life. It really did. And I'm thankful that I'm still here today.
And you're going to be here with us many more days.
Yes.
And now it's my battle and not yours.
I even made a promise to you, Darren, that I will hold on.
Hold on, brother. Help is on the way.
You're here helping me. From the day that I met you and talked to you for the first time, I felt a sense of relief. I felt a blanket of comfort from you. And I want to say thank you.
No, thank you. I got you. I got you on this. They will answer. They will answer to you and your family. I promise you. I got you. I got you.
And even talking with Johnny, I had a conversation with him. Like I said before.
We'll fix it.
The connection.
I'll fix it.
The connection is here, Johnny. And I want to thank you, too, for that phone call.
Anytime. You know that, buddy. Like you said, we're all brothers. Always.
Yes.
Always.
And we're going to fix that. And I want to say as we wrap it up, now we went in an hour and a half. Because they're so gracious on Triplevibes. When it comes to veterans, Triplevibes is right there because Dougie Fresh, too, is a veteran. And, we go over time in a half hour because America loves veterans. We all love our veterans. You're somebody's son. And, I'm grateful to Carl collaborating on this with me and Triplevibe and Dougie and everybody helping me put my heart out there to help do what I do good, advocate. All I do is I'm your voice and I speak in volumes. And that's what we need to do. But your case is going to go. Tonight, we're going to talk about that when JP gets here. I'm going to call you later. And I'm not going to wait. I'm going to bring this in at the same time because I don't have to be in New York, the federal court, as an advocate and as your assigned advocate by your own signature and your wife's. I'm going to see if I can stop them from here. And that captain and whoever else, the colonel, who think they have authority over your medical, when they're not medical professionals, how can they determine that? We're going to let the court put them in their place because the Constitution speaks more volumes. It speaks the volumes of the voice of we the people. And it's time that we stand up and take our country back. It's time that we stand up as the true people and patriots of this country for the republic that was made for us. And we can't lose it. And these types of things that happen to you, Johnny, people, everybody, fighting for your benefits, what is that about? The condition demonstrates your limitation. Why is that a question? So as emotional as I get over these things and being very close to it in the trenches, this to me is a big battlefield. but we're going to solve it. And I want to thank you for being on the show today to share that truth. I always thank Johnny for being with me and an encouragement, because when we have our servicemen and women, and we're going to have women soon, and we're going to have Nikki on, because she did 20 years, and she's also, retired with some challenges. And, we leave it up to them to say, I'm not her advocate, but I am her friend, and they walk the dogs together. And, I am your advocate by your own hand, and I will fight that fight, and they will answer. They will answer to the American people. And I want to thank everybody who tuned in, and I want you to share this wherever you are. Make sure they see it. Soon we're going to be on a major network, and we'll come out there. Win Talk has been a code. Okay, so you want to come into www.codewintalk.com, and you're going to see this. It's going to get posted, and you're going to share this with a friend, a veteran, somebody, maybe a mother whose son is a veteran, and he's out there struggling. We want to thank Carl Van Nevius III for helping me put my show out there, being a co-supporter with me in this long time awaited, because of meteors and people, and who gets to say what they want. Our First Amendment is absolute. It's the first rule of law in our Constitution. And I wanted to put this out in 2014, but I got to do it now because of Carl, because of Sean, because of Dougie, and now you have my platform. And Johnny's with me because he shares it. And that's why we come together, host and co-host, to address the needs of the American people. If you're a professional, a first responder, a veteran, a disabled family member, or a disabled family, you have a right to contact us. Go to codewintalkers.com or go to adaadvocates.com and leave your message. Thank you so much for sharing today with us. Please share this. And, as we always say, this book is the book, The Last Goodbye. And we're going to be back on the show. Dave Kaltenbeck will be back with us as we progress with the mini-series of The Last Goodbye, as we're working on. And you're going to hear more from Chris. We're going to give you updates. And we're gonna take this challenge as we have taken it on, and as you can see that we're intimately involved. This show is about family and American patriotism and a place to air that grievance. So if you want to be on, give us a call. Thank you, everybody, for participating. We want to thank you again, Chris. Thank you for your service, buddy. And don't worry. You know when you need me at night. I told you, no matter what time it is. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you think you could sneak away from everybody. I'd better be the first phone call, or John better be the first phone call. Don't think no more that you've been defeated. You're a victorious child of God. He created you with a plan and a purpose, and you've given sacrifice to country, and those responsible for trying to take what belongs to you, they're going to answer to me now, and they're going to answer to a court of law. And hopefully we get a judge who's honorable and has integrity and character, and this will get solved like that, because I bring my cases clear and straight with the truth. I'm Darren Aquino. This was Code Win Talk. Johnny Fratangelo. We want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And just because we shared some sadness with you today doesn't mean we're not grateful for where we are today. We're thankful, as Chris said, we're thankful that people intervene. So intervene in somebody's life today who's having a tough time. It's Christmas. Be the hope that somebody needs. Johnny, I love you, buddy.
I just wanted to pay a little tribute to my cousin.
Frankie. Yes, let's do that.
Okay, I had my heart kind of scarred twice this week. I lost one of my little doggies, Sophia.
Yeah, let's show that picture. Let's bring it up. Bring it up. I can't see it. Up, down, down.
Down?
Because we got this. Yeah, we got this thing here. We can't be like that.
Oh.
You put it in front of the camera.
Like that?
Well, this way. Go this way. This way. The other way. That way's too far. Come that way. Come that way. Keep coming. Keep coming. Okay. All right. It's not working. Okay.
All right. Well,
All
anyway,
right.
that's my little Sophia. She
I know. I
died
get to
in
see
my arms.
Sophia.
Okay. And now, I went to see my cousin. Yeah, he's a Vietnam veteran. His name is Frankie Giannini, and he was in the book with me. And he was the other attendant at my cousin Tony's funeral wake. And that's
Lift the book up a little higher in front of you. Keep it in front of your suit. Keep it in front of your suit. There you go. Up a little higher. A little higher. There you go.
Well, this is Frankie. All right, he stood with me by my cousin's side at the wake back in 1967, and he died yesterday. He died last night at 12:15. I went to see him luckily yesterday. I saw him, I guess, before his last breath because I was there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He died that evening at 12. But he had Agent Orange medical problems, from cancer to heart trouble, and he developed into leukemia. So I just wanted to pay a little tribute to him, and rest in peace, brothers. I love you.
And we want to acknowledge that, and we want to thank his family for his sacrifice in Vietnam. And we know these things are related to this Agent Orange. My sister's child, teenage boyfriend, sweetheart, he died at 30 years old. I think maybe even a little younger from the Agent Orange. We can't forget our Vietnam veterans. We can't forget our surviving World War II veterans. We should never forget any veterans. And that's why Johnny's my co-host, and I'm grateful to have him. And we have a relationship that bonded us like family. And now Chris is part of that family. And together, as we go forward in this Code Wind Talkers, you're going to see amazing things, and lives are going to change. Because I'm going to keep my promise and keep fighting. If you keep watching and keep supporting, we're going to get the job done for our veterans. Chris, again, thank you. Johnny, thank you. I love you, everybody. Merry Christmas from my family to yours, and to everybody watching. Merry Christmas, and I'm happy to say that. And happy Hanukkah, and happy Hanukkah, and whatever else you celebrate in this time with us, happy whatever that is. How about that?
Darren, I'd like to ask you something. I shared a GoFundMe that my niece put together for me. Okay. I shared it in the chat. I don't know if you can see it or if the viewers.
I'm not technical, but if it's there, I'll look at it.
Okay.
Can you give us the information by mouth? I can write it down.
Yes, share it, please. Share it with everybody. Share it with us.
HTTPS the 2 dots / GoFund.me /A287 6.
That's good.
C89. It's in the chat for this call.
Okay, and what's it for, Chris?
This is just to help me and my family in these times, being that
no benefits.
My wife is not working. The pay and the benefits situation is all changing for us. So we're just asking for just a little bit of help if you can.
Let me say that message out here, and we're going to say that, and I'm going to send me a link to my phone. I will put it on my Aquino for Congress at Twitter, on our Facebook, and here it'll be on Code Wind Talkers. If you care about our veterans and the veteran families, you heard this story here today, folks. This is real. This is true. This is not fake news or any kind of news. This is Code Wind Talk. We tell it true right here. You hear from your fellow Americans around the country, and we've been focusing on disabled veterans because of disenfranchisement, the challenges they're facing with their benefits, and under bad leadership. The president currently, Donald Trump, was trying to fix all these things, but he didn't have enough time. And hopefully we're going to solve that problem when the federal case gets resolved, when I bring it, because disabled voters did not get to vote. And we have to solve that problem. Our voice matters. And Chris needs your help. It's Christmas time. You know, one thing, the American spirit can never be beat when it comes to our humanity for those in need. So Chris needs your help. So do what you can. And we're going to post this everywhere. So those are my friends and followers and fans. Thank you so much. Today is about Chris. Tomorrow it'll be about somebody else, but we can't forget until we solve the issue. He's stuck in an issue that government owes him. This is a government by the people, for the people. So let's make it run for the people correctly. I'm Darren Aquino, Johnny Fratangelo. It's Christmas in Florida, it's Christmas in New York, and it's even Christmas in Oklahoma. So we love you, buddy. We got you. I'll see you all. God bless everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week on Code Wind Talkers.